Hey guys, it's TF Nut. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing another action figure review. We're going to be doing a special one for the month of October. We're going to be looking at the NECA Ultimate Invisible Man from the Invisible Man movie. The 7-inch figure here. I've had this sitting on my shelf for a little while. I bought this a while ago. It's been out for a long time. Not a super duper long time, but long enough to where this is definitely not a new figure. I did want to make this one of my special Halloween related reviews for the month though, because I've been picking up some newer horror figures this month, and then I had some older ones on backlog as well. And this particular movie is one of my favorite Universal monster movies. How much so, do you ask?
Hey, I'm going to the store. Do you want something?
Okay, cringy skits out of the way. A lot of you are familiar with how NECA packages their Ultimate figures, especially with the Universal Monster stuff. A lot of imagery from the original posters, as well as unique images of the particular figure with different accessories sprinkled throughout the box, especially when you get to the back of the packaging with a lot of really cool display options that you can do with Invisible Man. It's going to say Universal Monsters, NECA Real Toys, and Invisible Man throughout the entire box. When you look on top of the box, you do see where it says ages 17 and up, warning choking hazard, as well as NECA. On the bottom here, you see the Universal logo, NECA Real Toys, the barcode on the right, and then the credits of everyone who worked on this product on the left. When you open up the figure on the left side, you see an image of Invisible Man in a diorama that they built, which looks really cool. And on the right, the figure in the packaging there with all the contents there. Let's go ahead and get this figure out of the packaging. And here is the figure out of the packaging. This is a really nicely done figure. Even though I think there's a couple things about this particular figure I think could be done a little bit better, I'm very glad to have this with the rest of my Universal Monsters, NECA figures, and all that. Let's go ahead and take a look at the accessories, then we'll take a close look at the figure. We're going to start off with the heads in the accessory portion. As you see here, they have done some things where I don't think it's as unique as like the Jada Toys version, but by no means do I think that the way that they did the accessories is bad. Maybe I'll get those Jada Universal Monsters in the future. I don't know yet. They look cool, but I do have all the NECA ones. That's why I decided to get mostly all the NECA ones for now. Looking at this head sculpt, I think that the way the bandages are done, there's a little bit of shading throughout, a little bit of a wash maybe, but I think it could be a little bit more prominent. I think it's also a little bright on my camera. There is some really nice paint with some brown here for the wig coming out through here, and the sculpt on there is pretty nice. If you look close enough, you can see that they did miss some paint a little bit. You see what a sculpt is there, but you know, that paint, it really doesn't matter. You have to look really hard to tell where the hair is like mispainted. There's a little bit of what could be splotching like right here. I'm not exactly sure if it's supposed to be there. There's like that brown, like light brown right there. But this is pretty nicely done. The wrinkles on the wraps, all that looks great. And of course, you see the hollowed out eyes and nose and the mouth. That is really cool. This is all one piece here. Wanted to mention. You see with the articulation, this is a separate, piece of articulation going on here, and then you have a separate piece in the neck. You really only get one way of articulation going on with this one. Probably with this one too, which it might be even more limited depending on this piece, because this is a very soft plastic piece right here. Maybe not super duper soft, but it's soft enough. You see with this particular head, with the hollowed out eyes and the nose is pretty much on there. It looks like the wig is a little bit glossy here. Again, so I don't know if it's supposed to have stuff on here, but there's like a lighter brown that's almost in the dark brown too. But the way that the bandages are done, again, very nice sculpt work, and the paint is definitely there. I wish it could be a little bit more in the shadow department or like the wash department, but it's really not bad looking. I'm digging it. We have this pair of goggles here, the glossy black in the eyes, a little bit of silver around there, and it's a very dark brown. These are very soft plastic. We'll go over the hands later because it's a little confusing which hands are meant for which accessories. The invisibility serum looking really cool. This like bluish purple going on there. I don't think that comes out. This is a little bit of a softer plastic. Actually, I think it's pretty stiff. You can just bend it a little bit. So I would not bend this very often. But that metallic silver paint is nice, and that translucent plastic going on in here. I think the way that like they had to take it out of the injection maybe is kind of chipped, but this is still a pretty nice looking piece. We do have the wig here, which has a little bit of light brown and dark brown mixed in there. The hair has some really nice detailing overall. It is actually a softer plastic. The notebook here is a harder plastic. I think it's slightly softer, but you can't bend it in any way. I don't remember which way. I think it's like this because I can see a 2 right there. But this has a lot of really nice markings. Not everything is, you know, readable, which is fine with me. This is what the back of the notebook looks like, with a little bit of a wash in the back of the dark green going on in there. That is cool. They actually gave extra noses here because I think they knew that we were going to lose these, or some people would lose these, when NECA has definitely made way smaller accessories before without you know, spares. So I'm not complaining. I just think it's kind of funny that they're like, yeah, maybe we should start doing that for smaller accessories. Speaking of the noses, this is the one that is in the box, so not in the bag. A little bit of paint in the nostrils there. A little bit of like something on the bridge there too. But it's mostly molded in this light yellowish brownish color. Almost looks like orange. Very cool. Now with the hands, they are meant for different things. So these more relaxed looking hands, they are a little bit of a smaller grip. These are meant for holding the book, actually. And it can hold the book really well. The detailing is going to be the same with this other hand I want to show off in a second. But the detailing in the palms is really good, with nice stretching going on there. I think there's a tiny bit of like shading or wash in here, but it's mostly painted in this one color. On the back here, all that is just very nice light brown gloves with the stretching on the back. Fingers looking really good too. This one here is more of a loose grip, and I believe this one here is meant for holding the invisibility serum. It could, you know, these hands could be meant for holding different things, but this will hold the invisibility serum the best out of the other hands that you get. Again, looking in the palms here, looking on the back of the hands, really nice stretching. Maybe not stretching, but wrinkles in the hand there. Last but not least, we have darker brown gloves. Now, I'm not entirely sure what these are meant for. I think maybe the right hand with the grip could be meant for holding either the goggles or the nose, and maybe you can do the other on the other hand as well. Again, these hands can be used for different purposes, but that's just what my first initial thought would be with these particular hands. These are really cool dark brown gloves. I really like the wash going on in here. They actually have some really nice brown leather material looking you know, paint going on in here, and sculpt work. I can't really speak too well, but these are just really nicely done gloves. Really digging these. So we get a lot of really cool stuff with this figure. One thing I want to mention with this figure, at least my particular figure, before we take a look at the actual detailing, it seems like parts are a little easier to pop off this time around, maybe a little too much. This left hand, the one that he comes packaged with, pops off rather easily. The other hands don't pop, I mean, they pop off easy, but not as easy as this one. Like, it's almost like this seems too loose, and this is sturdy when it pops in and out, so it's pretty secure. The rest of the hands, just this particular one, you know, is not sturdy. The rest of the hands are sturdy. Head pops off rather easily, maybe a little too easily sometimes when you're moving it up and down. I think they did that because of basically making it easier to have the feature of the figure removing more parts of him, so you can make him even more invisible, like popping off the hands and the head there. Or, you know, if you always need a cheaper option of an Invisible Man figure, there you go. Okay, I reused that joke from my Toru Hagakure review from a couple years ago. It wasn't funny then, not funny now. Anyway, this head that it comes packaged with is really cool. The goggles look great with a little bit of a lighter brown here. It's not very bright, of course, compared to this. It's almost like black, I think. I think that the eyes actually are black. This thing popped off. There we go. Silver around there. The glossiness and the actual, you know, the eyes are really cool. That's what the nose looks like on there. Painted very similarly to the loose noses that you get. Again, with the wrappings here, I think that there could be a little bit of a better like wash, but the actual detailing and sculpting and overall paint is still very good. You see the wig peering through there. Peering is not a word, I don't think. But the light brown, slightly darker brown in there looks really good. Very little paint splotching. I think some of the paint is a little caked on the way it looks, but like it really not bad paint at all. You get a little bit of detailing going on in neck right there, mostly like what looks like muscles in there. So they added a little bit of shading, almost like a wash, a light blue wash on the suit here, which gives it some really cool details. You can see how they've applied it on the wrinkles, especially. All that looks really cool. It really brings out these really nice wrinkles, as well as like the buttons here too. They look really cool with a little bit of a wash on there. All this going on in here. A little bit of these pocket holes. Don't know what they're always exactly supposed to be called there. The handkerchief is pretty nice. It's just a basic white there, though. The pockets are sculpted nicely. This entire jacket looking really good. You see the back here with some of that brushing and wash going on in there. Light blue all the way up in here with the wrinkles. Looking really good. I think some of the plastic looks a little... I don't know if it's supposed to look like that, but there's a chance that this could be something misprinted on here or something up the plastic where it looks a little glossy, because the rest of this... I mean, there's parts where it looks a little shiny, but a lot of it does look very matte. That's not really a complaint. It's just something for me to mention there. They continue that detailing and paint going on the forearms and the bicep, and then the forearm going on here. I think it's not as heavy in the forearm compared to this piece here, since they have to take into consideration the elbow joint. I think it's actually more on the inside of the forearm. I mean, it could be the trick of the light, but I don't see it that much out here. There's definitely still paint throughout these arms, though. Like, don't get me wrong. And the sculpting with the wrinkles going on there looks really good. I forgot to mention the white collar on the shirt and all that looks good. Light blue tie, looking really nice. These are the fists that the figure comes packaged with. You see the buttons there too. See the white cuffs from the undershirt. These look really good, very nice, similarly detailed to the light brown, yellowish, almost like a mustard yellow gloves that we get with the rest of the figure. You know, those different accessories. You see the stretching and wrinkles on the back of the hand. This going on here too. I felt like there were holes in these hands, like a little bit of a small grip to hold stuff, but there is not. These are closed off. You see the thumbs on the top of the hand there too. Looking really good. Moving down to the legs, and this is a softer plastic piece, of course. I can't tell what it looks like exactly unless I start taking things apart and cutting things, and I really don't want to do that, but we do have a little bit of parts that aren't glued together here, so that gives it a little bit of separation. I want to mention that the thighs real quick. I thought sometimes they reuse stuff from other figures. Not all the time, but they have been known to reuse Freddy's legs with different figures. I thought that Invisible Man reused parts from Loomis, but the way that the thigh and like the upper leg is sculpted where it's a little bit thicker, looks like this is a brand new sculpt. And if they were going to reuse parts, I don't really mind, because NECA really doesn't reuse often, and when they do, you just can't tell. You have to look close at the rest of your collection to see what is being reused with different characters. But as you see with the thighs here, a little bit of a brushing going on here too on some of the wrinkles. It's not as prominent as the jacket, a little bit in the crotch area too. A little bit of glossiness going on too, whatever's going on there. There's a back of the pants there, lots of wrinkles. I can't see it. There we go. Butt there also has some... Man, he's kind of cheeked up. Okay. all right. Again, some dry brushing going on the side of the wrinkles there on the outer leg. Outer thigh, I should say. And then we get down to the lower leg towards the shins, the back of the legs there. You can kind of tell this is a little bit of a different gray compared to this, but it all mixes together pretty well. It's just because this isn't really painted. Maybe a little bit painted, but even then the chipping will happen if it is painted. I think there's a little bit of like some shading, like a little bit of darkness going on here towards the cuffs. You can see it's a little bit wrinkled. They like to wrinkle their cuffs a lot. It's kind of a nice change of pace or whatever phrase I would say. I need to figure all that out. Just talk normally. It's not as wrinkled down here in the cuffs as it would be for, say, Loomis. He has some pretty decent wrinkles towards the bottom of his pants. And I think it's fine that we don't have that there. It's just something I thought would be mentioned. The feet, though, the shoes, they look really good. Let's zoom in a little bit if I can. Part of me thought that these were like 2 left feet or 2 right feet for a second. Sometimes my eyes play tricks on me because these are definitely a left and a right foot. The wrinkling on top looks really good. These look like nice either leather or suede shoes. There's not really any treading on the bottom there, but that's fine. These look really good. So it's really nicely detailed and painted. Now, going over articulation, because all the heads have some slightly different stuff going on here, you're really only going to get the ball joint rotation right here at this part of the head. And this is, when it pops on, it stays on there, but it doesn't really want to rotate just because of how this softer plastic piece here is done going into the neck. So, when you have this head that he comes packaged with, there's a ball joint here and then a lower joint going on in the neck. It's not, the collar here gets in the way. So, shimmying it back, it doesn't really look up that far, and then yeah, that pops off a little too easily for me, and then shifting it down a little bit off camera, that's as far as it goes. But side to side's fine, swiveling, you get no problem there. Arms go all the way around. Yeah, that's as far out as in and out as it wants to go, because this part that's sculpted on here gets in the way, so yeah, that's as far out as it wants to go. Let me double check. Yeah, you really can't move those arms out that much. You have a little bit of elbow rotation in a 90-degree angle there. Swivel here, back and forth here. The paint will start to chip there. A little bit of a ball joint. Yeah, pretty good ball joint actually. There's different areas I'm definitely feeling, and I can feel some harder plastic underneath sticking out now, so be careful with that. There we go, just have to grab something. This takes some finagling because there's technically two different ball joints, but side to side, forward, back, and a rotation there, of course, all that different range of motion. You do have a little bit of a soft plastic going on in the crotch piece, but it still does not want to kick out the leg that far. And then back, really not that great. And there is an upper thigh swivel. It's a better swivel in than out, so it's rather hindered. Swivel here at the knee. Single joint knee doesn't get a 90, it's almost there. And then I'm trying to see, I thought there might have been a swivel at the ankles. I don't think there is. I think it might be a little too hindered, but there's definitely a little bit of an ankle rocker. I'm trying to see if there actually is a swivel. I can't tell if there's a swivel there. Definitely a rocker. The down, not great, and then that's the up. As funny as I thought it would be to bring out no figures for a, quote, invisibility size comparison, I did bring out some actual figures for you guys. Measuring out the figure, looking at 17.5 centimeters, that is going to put this at about just at 7 inches. I think NECA figures are usually a little bit over 7 inches tall, so I think Invisible Man is a little bit shorter. As you can see, the Frankenstein and Creature from the Black Lagoon are much taller than normal sized NECA figures, so it's going to be almost like an inch, I think, for each of those. Over on the far left, I have Toru Hagakure, and over on the far right, Marvel Legends Invisible Woman. Just thought I'd bring out some invisible type characters. Overall, again, I think this is a really cool figure. I've been digging the NECA Universal Monster stuff for a long time. This one here is no exception. I do think, once again, the Jada Toys Invisible Man, they did the accessories a little bit more creatively there, where it was like him pulling off a glove and being invisible. I think that was cool, but what we have here is still really cool for this particular figure, and it's going to fit in really well with the rest of your NECA Universal Monster stuff. I do think that it has hindered joints. You're not going to be doing the craziest of poses here, so I think it's fine. It's a little bit hindered, but the way the accessories are done is really nice. Overall paint and sculpting is really good. I forgot to mention, you get a lot of stuff here. I mean, I've shown it off, but I think it's really impressive how much stuff they really gave for $35 with this particular figure. I think that there were a couple of paint splotches, as well as some loose parts, like the head popping off a little too easily and the left hand popping off also a little too easily. But other than that, this is a really solid piece. It's about $35. I got mine at Target. I'll leave links in the description below if you're trying to get this figure. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment down below. Just think about the figure. Just think about the review. Leave a like, share amongst your friends. Follow me on Instagram for more content over there, and I'll see you guys later.